Cosmic tea. Officially, sorry about that. I don't know. This is all new to me, so I think this should work. Let me know if you can't hear me. Oh well, a learning process. But if you're new here, welcome. My name is Allie. I'm a tarot reader and an intuitive coach. Just lost a card. Oh, 2 swords in reverse and the 8 of Pentacles. Interesting. This reading is for INFJs. I figured since I'm also a fellow INFJ, we could use a lot more support. It is considered the 1 to 3% of the US population, rarest personality in the US, I guess. I don't know if it's the whole world. Some other research I did, it said it was only 1 to 2%. So I don't know. Let me know if you guys find any more details about that. But if you have a fellow INFJ in your life, this is a great way to get to know us. We're considered the advocates and idealists, and it's introverted, feeling, judging. When I do the Myers-Briggs test, I sometimes come off as other forms. I think it's INFP and ENFP. Those are the ones I get the most when I take the test. But we recharge by spending time alone, often giving off an extroverted vibe because of our strong people skills and desire to connect deeply. I do get that a lot. Everybody that I meet is like, wow, you're an introvert? And I'm like, yep, that I am. I come off as very bubbly, but after a few hours, my social meter goes down. Hey, Will. Intuitive, we focus on the bigger picture, abstract ideas and patterns rather than concrete details. Definitely true. We are guided by empathy, values, and a strong moral compass rather than pure logic. And we prefer structure and planning over being spontaneous, thriving on organization and long-term vision. I'm half and half on that. Sometimes I can be very spontaneous, but I do love a plan. I do like lists. So our strengths is empathy and deep understanding. We have an uncanny ability to sense others' emotions and understand unspoken feelings. We have visionary thinking. We see possibilities where others may not, and often combining creativity with strategic foresight. We're guided by a sense of purpose and work towards causes that we truly believe in. That's definitely true. And we often dedicate our energy to helping others and making the world a better place. True, true, yes. So some of the challenges that INFJs have is overcommitting. Absolutely. Our desire can lead us to burnout. Yes, I constantly have to recover from burnout. It's something that I'm hoping to phase out in 2025. This is the most I've ever meditated. It's like only like what? 6 days into 2025. Perfectionism, yes, absolutely. We often have high standards for ourselves and others, which can be very overwhelming. Yeah, that's true. I wonder how many Virgos are INFJs. Hey, so I had to delete the original live because apparently no one could hear me. So can you hear me now? I have my tablet on the side reading some notes, but we're going through INFJ challenges currently. Reluctance to open up. Yeah, I could see that. Despite our empathy, we can be private and hesitant to share our own vulnerabilities. Yay, good. Good to hear you. In relationships, INFJs are loyal, caring, and devoted partners. We seek deep emotional and intellectual connections. I agree. We value authenticity and prefer meaningful conversations over small talk. Yes, please don't small talk me. I'd just rather not. We often struggle with setting boundaries due to their innate desire to please and support their loved ones. Yes, yes. INFJs need really good boundaries, especially as empaths. Empaths all need boundaries. Career paths. INFJs thrive in roles that align with their values, creativity, and desire to help others, such as counseling or coaching. Hello, intuitive coach here. Writing or the arts, yes. Social work or advocacy, yes. Teaching, yes. Psychology or healthcare, yeah. So depends like which group. Personal growth tips: set boundaries, just talked about that. Practice vulnerability, balance idealism with realism, absolutely. I have a hard time grounding my dreams in reality, mostly because I have so many ideas. That's a tough one for me. While it's great to dream big, stay grounded can help make those dreams achievable. Hilarious. Celebrate small wins, let go of perfectionism, and honor progress over perfection. Yes. When I had my fitness coach, that's something that we worked on, and it actually helped a lot because I didn't even realize how hard I was on myself. Can you be an ugly person and be a successful card reader? Every reader I see is a hottie. Is that a trick question? Everybody's beautiful in their own way. Explain your acronym, Buddy Bunch. You mean my username? Synchronistic Ally. So ALLI. So I kind of made it into a pun, synchronistically. So my name at the end, synchronicities, because that's kind of how I got into all of this. I'm a reader as of this year, 5 years, and I'm also an intuitive coach. Tarot actually started more so with art, but it was synchronicities that led me there. And I've been studying synchronicity since. And I will follow a synchronicity more than I will follow someone else's advice, to be honest. And that's how I ended up meeting my tarot mentor anyway. And she knows how I operate. Haru Clover. Hi, I'm just now getting into tarot reading and I don't know the name or what it's called, but surrounding religion. Do you have any advice? I'm just now getting into tarot reading and I don't know the name or what it's called, but surrounding religion. I don't quite understand what you're asking. I'm more spiritual than religious. A lot of you guys know that I grew up very Catholic. I went to private school for most of my life. I did Bible study. I did Sunday school, all that jazz. No worries. I just don't understand what you're asking. But for me, let me just explain like my side of things. I never read a tarot book. I always focused more on the art illustrations and I just picked up on it very easy, and also started with Reiki as well. So I believe that Reiki service unblocked my chakras, and I never really realized that I always had clairvoyant gifts. But when I started playing with the cards, it was very apparent to me that's what it was for. And so tarot became a useful tool for my personal life. I started reading for others for a good year, practicing on Facebook groups, mutual friends, friend of a friend, some family members, but not all of them. But then year 2, I launched my second Instagram page where I started posting just like funny memes, shadow work journal posts, collective readings, things like that. Started going live with other readers. Down the rabbit hole I went. And so it continues. There's a movie called The Uglies and the Pretties. It's a pretty good watch. Oh, I've never heard of that. Same for me. Yeah, so I would focus on symbolism, numerology, and astrology because those are things that help you read the cards better. But I don't think the books are necessary, and there's so many tarot books out there. But I mean, you could get a general idea of what each card means, but it really, in the end, the meanings of the cards can change completely depending on the surrounding cards. Where should you get tarot cards? Your local apothecary shop, crystal shop, Amazon. I think Temu has them, but I don't really recommend getting cards on Temu. I've heard other tarot readers say differently, and they're like, I always get cards on Temu. I haven't had like a super great experience. Like, I guess you could get the Rider-Waite off Temu probably, and that's the first deck I would get if you're first starting to learn tarot, because there's so much history with the Rider-Waite. And if you want to understand symbolism more, there's a lot of symbols in that one. Oh, right. I've gotten into numerology. Right. Yeah. They all kind of go hand in hand. So were those all my notes for INFJs? For the most part, I was going to talk about INFPs and what the difference is. I guess we can kind of touch on that a little bit. If it would have sent, 1 second. So for INFPs, it's about introverted feeling, whereas INFJs are introverted intuition. INFPs make decisions based on their feelings and values, while INFJs use intuition to make judgments. INFPs tend to be flexible and spontaneous, while INFJs are more structured and analytical. Okay, I can see why sometimes I get INFP. INFJs are naturally tuned into the emotions of others, while INFPs are more in tune with their own feelings. INFJs are drawn to topics like psychology, personal growth, and spirituality, while INFPs are more open-minded and artistic. INFJs' empathy and social skills make them well-suited for careers in therapy, social work, and counseling. Okay, that makes sense. Hi, Abigail. So, I guess let's get started. What do my fellow INFJs need to know? I got Ace of Wands. Ooh, inspiration coming through. 6 of Pentacles. Ace of Pentacles in reverse. 8 of Wands, the bottom of the deck. 6 of Swords. Knight of Swords. Okay. So INFJs. This is interesting. I don't know if I've seen other readers do anything about the Myers-Briggs, but are we all just like living the same life? What you're needing to know at this time is to have equal give and take with people. I think you're learning that right now. Being moved by your inspirations, run towards it, not away from it. I think you might miss an opportunity if you do that. There's also a conversation that you might be avoiding with someone, or you're scared to take the leap. I feel like you have so much passion that sometimes your communication can be kind of a little funky, maybe a little too aggressive. So just keep a watch on that. It's funny that we talked about INFJs having a hard time with boundaries, because I can see that in the cards for sure. It's almost like you give too much to other people that sometimes you miss out on things that are meant for you. The universe is trying to hand you an opportunity. Could be time, could be money, could be a promotion, could be a level up in some way. I watched the movie Tarot. Hi, Alexis. I haven't seen that yet, but I am curious. I've heard mixed reviews about it. I don't know if I want to be honest. I'm not like a huge movie person. My 15-year-old is, though. He likes the girl chick type of series, I guess you could say. He's always trying to get me to watch like his shows. I'm still trying to get him to watch Peaky Blinders. That's one of my favorites. Probably watched it over 5 times now. I might rewatch it again. But if you're into tarot, you'll like Peaky Blinders because it's very gypsy, witchy. It's about the Romanian street gang. I think it's a mix of Romanian origin and I believe Irish background. Let's do some oracle cards. Oh yeah, I watched Tarot. I don't think it has the best representation, but it was a great movie. Really? Well, now I'm curious. To be honest, everybody's been pulling on my energy, like suggesting a bunch of things for me, like, oh, watch this, or oh, try this, or oh, I think you might like this. And I'm just like, yeah. Add it to the list of things that I'll probably never do. I got so much going on. Like when I watch TV, Netflix, or anything on the screen, it's usually YouTube related or it's knowledge related, like something that I want to keep into my brain, or it's the complete opposite where it's like stand-up comedy. I like to melt my brain and just laugh, you know? Definitely recommend, no pressure. I get that. Yeah. Someone was recommending me a podcast yesterday. Why can't I remember the name? But it's basically like a true crime type of podcast, but it's like everybody knows what it is. If I remembered the name, I bet you would know. I can't remember. Let's see if any of you guys know what I'm talking about. But they have like a bunch of episodes where it's just about, I think the one I watched just to try it out was Influencer Gone Wrong. And it was talking about someone in, I don't want to be quoted, so I don't actually want to give the details, but they have a bunch of episodes where they're talking about just crimes that really aren't shown on the media, or maybe they are. They had like 3 parts to Diddy Gone Wrong. Does anyone know what I'm talking about? It seems really good, but what I didn't like is that at the beginning of the episodes, they always have an ad, like they're trying to sell something. And so I got disinterested very quick. So I probably paused the podcast at least 5 times because I'm always like multitasking. Cards for INFJs. What's going on with INFJs? Says a stubborn, aggressive person. Triumph over troubles and obstacles. Dealings or relationship with a woman. Man, I gotta change all my links to my scheduled live now. Oh well, I'll remember next time. Money will be coming to you. Ooh. Waiting for news, package, and a letter. Take care, enemies working against you. Don't love that. Chain of events that will affect your life. A long journey, either physical or mental, will leave you wiser at the end. You are highly thought of. Woo! Reconciliation. An exciting event. Feeling tied down or frustrated. Opportunity or windfall. Yeah, that came out in the tarot as well. Let's use the other one. What's going on for INFJs? What do INFJs need to know right now at this time? You will be taken care of in difficult times. You feel something is lacking in your life, perhaps love, money, or goals. Someone you know is undependable and insincere. Insincere. Changes in your life. Sorrow over a loss. An emotional, secure, loving family is important to you. That sounds about right. Let's grab a more introspective deck. We're going to use the Wild Unknown Archetypes by Kim Krans, one of my favorites. If you're on my Instagram, I use these for collective reads quite a bit. It was always interesting, like what I could pick up channeling wise when I would get multiple cards. that's a different feeling. What do INFJs need to know right now? Did I say this in the video earlier? Like, I'm curious how many INFJs are Virgo placements. I think I know at least 2 that are. Ooh. These are really big, so it's really hard to shuffle. The Eternal Child. Pretty. Hi, INFJ Cancer. Oh, cool. Hi, Veronica. Nice to meet you. The Eternal Child. Yeah, I'm curious. How does YouTube algorithm work? Does it just know all the INFJs on YouTube and then it sends it over? The Eternal Child. Where are you? 1 second. While I flip through the guidebook. This is not a card that I get often. This should be in the people. Oh, just saw it. Okay, that makes sense. The inner child, the child of joy. The eternal child is not connected to the timeless, ageless, and infinite aspects of life. It is radiant and fearless and seeks joy above all else at any cost. It struggles behind being bound to an aging body with physical limitations in a world that demands attention to detail and logistics. The eternal child wants to nix all the rules and responsibilities and goes beyond what others say is possible. It wants to return with plenty of friends to the land of the free, where divine wine and creativity pour from the earth and the sky. We all want to sip from the well of eternal youth, and this makes the eternal child naturally popular, perhaps even famous. The eternal child glimmers. It reminds us of what is possible, what is magical about this precious life. Man, I was just getting major intuitive hits the whole time I was reading this. It says, when light, joyful, playful, accepts all magic, when dark, addicted, selfish, adrift, burns out. Go deeper, Peter Pan, Icarus? Icarus. I don't think I've ever heard of that. Have you guys? And then it says, Rumi's, has anyone seen the boy? So I don't know where that's from. Celebrity culture is based heavily on this archetype, as is the phrase live hard, die young, in the series of artists and musicians who died at 27. Well, that's sad. This archetype is so spirited that when its appetite for life is satiated, it seeks spirits and substance elsewhere. The eternal child struggles with addictions of all varieties. Ooh, interesting. So as fast as the channeling comes in, it also leaves very quick. But something that I do remember, INFJs, because you're, the introverts, technically we don't like to be like, on stage out in the open. And it was talking about, being very popular and famous. There is something that you do that's very inspirational for other people, that you are meant to stand out. But I feel like you might tend to self-sabotage because of that introvert part of yourself. But right now is not the time to do that. You have like this dream deep down inside you. And in order for you to get to where you need to go, soul evolutionary wise, being seen is something that's going to be very important. The way that you speak, the way you interact with others is going to be very highlighted. It's not just about your talent and skill. Like, I'm feeling like you work with your hands a lot. There's something that you do creative wise. And it's more than just that. It's about like who you are as an overall person. Like, you're very favored at this time for whatever reason. So that's interesting. Let's use another Kim Krans deck. We're just winging it at this point. Since I had to delete the original scheduled live, I'm just like, well, we might as well just do what we want, you know? I'm sorry if my hair is making noise. It's also another reason why I don't like to use the mic. And then sometimes I feel like I'm yelling. I don't know. You tell me, you guys. What else can you tell me for INFJs? Ooh, you got the Dolphin. That came out real fast. All the cards that you're getting are so colorful. Has anyone used GhostTube? Volume's good? Okay. I swear I'm like yelling. Maybe it's because it's echoing in here and it just sounds louder to me. But this is supposed to make it sound more soft and happy, you know. What do they call it? ASMR. Dolphin. Where is it? This water element. Okay. Intelligent, healer, light, and blessings. The gifts of the dolphin are beyond what our human minds can grasp. Dolphin personalities are often drawn to the healing arts as they are sensitive to the subtle and enjoy working on the level of spirit. It's easy for dolphin types to underestimate the impact they make in the world. These creatures play such an important role in the wheel of karma that coming in contact with a dolphin type will change the entire course of your day, and thus your life. This card can also indicate a profound blessing is on its way. When in balance, active healer, strong spiritual practice. When out of balance, underestimates own power. To bring into balance like-minded spirits. Didn't that just tie into the tarot and the other card completely in all the channeling I just did? I love when that happens. Triple confirmation. That's cool. Is that deck watercolor impressions? No, it's not. Not all of them. Kim Krans, I think she's an artist herself. But I think she's like probably similar to you, like mixed media, whatever she feels like. She also did like music recently. I was going to ask if you got more interesting hits on GhostTube. Yes, I did. And I had it on while my friend came by the other day. And he's like super into paranormal activity, ghost hunting, and all that stuff. And he doesn't get scared very easy. So it kind of made it fun. But yeah, it was like being super rude to him and saying like the most random stuff. And I also picked up a couple pictures off Ghost Seer. I think that's what it's called. They have like a few different apps, but they still like don't make sense to me. I think the only one that made sense was the one I posted that I kind of did some research on. But one that we got last night, it looked kind of like watercolor. It looks like aura light. I'll have to post it and show you. And then one I got today, I was facing the camera towards the bathroom, and it looked like a brick wall with blood on it. And I was like, that doesn't look appealing. I don't know what happened here or what happened in the area, because technically where I live is relatively new, so it can't be like literally. Is there reoccurring visitors? Yes. I believe there's got to be at least 4 that I get that are decent. The other ones are questionable. There's one, I showed Polly a picture and he's like, aren't you glad that you have a protective ancestor? But the picture looked very aggressive and he looked upset, and it looked like he looked like Captain Hook. He didn't have like a real hand. He had like some metal thing attached to his hand. But yeah, the first night was kind of rough. I didn't sleep, you guys. But after a while and a lot of grounding practices, I meditate a lot. Probably more than the average person. not just because of tarot and getting into esoterics, but because I also have an autoimmune disorder that affects me neurologically. So you'll often hear me stumble upon my words, repeat things that it kind of has to do with that. It depends how grounded I am. See what I mean? And also, I'm very sensitive to lights. And right now, the phone is on a ring light. And so I get like kind of discombobulated. But yeah, you'll notice that as time goes on that I kind of have those interesting habits. But with GhostTube, I'm very intentional about calling things in. I only call to my spirit guides or whatever is just around me. I feel like there are some that are stuck. I do believe one of the spirits is a child, just because that's what I picked up with the tarot cards. So a lot of the times when I ask it questions or it's talking to me, I'll shuffle, and they're actually more active on GhostTube when I have my cards. Isn't that interesting? So if you are highly sensitive or your sleep is already not great, I don't recommend using GhostTube for yourself. I don't. But if you like those kind of things and you practice protection, like saging, Palo Santos, meditating, closing out portals, salt, spiritual cleanses, things like that, I think you could try it and see what happens. There's also a blog on GhostTube where people post their findings or the pictures that Ghost Seer gives them, I guess you could say. And they're all different. A lot of people get a lot of cats, and I still haven't got a cat yet, and I'm so upset. I'm like, why don't I get a cat? And all the other pictures that I get are super weird. What else have I seen on there? I actually connected to a military veteran, and he says that he's made friends, I guess close connections with some of them, but he's also very particular in how he uses the app as well and talks about protection. And I was like, you're one of the real ones. So I'm not like huge on watching paranormal investigative shows or anything like that, to be honest. My son and his bonus brother, they're kind of into it. I think more so his brother than him. He's more suspicious. And I wanted to kind of try it out for myself before he got his hands on it because he's more spiritually sensitive. He's actually had some like weird experiences with that, just not even trying. So I wanted to make sure I knew what this was about. I'm still interested, but I don't want to accidentally invite stuff I don't need. I'll just dabble with it when I'm with you. Yeah, I mean, yeah. So I mean, you're technically relatively new, so I would maybe wait on that. But you know what I'd love to do later down the road with you is like check out a cemetery or go to a haunted house or what is claimed to be haunted, which if you guys don't know, I live in Washington State. I'm not going to tell you my particular area. I'm very private, but there's a lot of places in Washington that are known to have high spiritual activity. And it doesn't surprise me because if you look at the history of Washington and it being on native land, obviously. And then when I was doing some digging on the nun picture that I got like a picture of 4 nuns. And there's a lot of Washington that had like a huge spiritual and religious movement. And I'm trying to think of dates, but it just was over time and huge shifts. A lot in the 1970s, also in the early 1900s, and then also in the late 1800s, apparently. That's what I read. And even the area that I grew up, apparently it was a Catholic school, and they still have some in that area, but the Lakewood Mall used to be completely different, and then it just ended up being part of the city when someone passed away. So I found that to be very interesting. But one of these days, yeah, I'd love to play with it more and see what it says. I'm trying to get my friend to download it for himself and see if it says different things like in his environment, because like I still speculate, like, you know, some of the things it says is very vague, so I'm just like, I don't know if it doesn't seem to sometimes it seems to interact with me and care about like what I'm asking it and actually genuinely respond. Other times I feel like I'm just picking up on random words. So it's really weird. They've said some names. It said Abigail twice. And then some other boy names that I can't remember off the top of my head. But if you keep the free version, it saves the first 15 words. But I usually screenshot just to keep track. My phone's going to be very heavily saturated with GhostTube, man. I never looked into or know any sensitive spots around us. Google it. Look it up. My you know, my old boss, she actually has a book on her office desk that says, I think, what is it called? It's something strange Washington, but it will show all the spooky things in Washington. Fort Steilacoom is one of them. You know, Western State used to be right there. The old Western State Hospital got torn down, but you can definitely still feel the energy for sure. I'm sorry we strayed. INFJ, what up? Well, we're pretty much done. We're just chatting, but I didn't want to make this like a super long video anyway, because usually I have my phone on the charger, but right now I have the mic on. Oh, Fort Steilacoom, I pick up weird vibes. Yeah, not always good either. I did like when Fort Steilacoom had the ruins up because there was some really beautiful graffiti art. I get spooked near the lake. Yeah, that lake is kind of funky. I see people fishing in it, and I'm like, you don't actually use, you don't use anything in there, do you? Because I think it's like been shut down for toxic algae or something like that a few times, or people just do it for the vibes. I don't know. To be honest, I've taken a lot of naps in the Fort Steilacoom forest as a teenager. I did. I skipped school to go to Fort Steilacoom a lot. I was like debating in my head. I was like, do I want to share that? Yeah, why not? My parents already know. They already say I'm like, I was a bad rebellious child anyway. Free-spirited is the word I like to use. But yeah, there's like strange energies that hang out at Fort Steilacoom just because Western State is right there as well. And then you have Pierce College like right behind there. But there's also a lot of places in Seattle. I believe there's also like haunted restaurants as well. Those sound interesting. I want to try one of those out. I want to make sure that I'm in a really good place spiritually and mentally before I try any of that. But lately I've been feeling more lighthearted, so it's all good. But that was the messages I had for INFJs. I hope that was helpful to you. Just a little short message just to see how many INFJs we could reach tonight. And then, you know, if you liked it, maybe we will continue that little new trend. But if you guys are interested in booking a personal reading, you can find my Instagram where I have all my links. I also post all my links in my description, and I believe it's on the community profile as well. I offer different types of services because everybody is different. I have emailed readings, pre-recorded videos, as well as virtual calls. And I'm also an intuitive coach where you can get 3 emailed readings a month for 6 months, as well as coaching and mentorship and access to the Patreon. I created like a Patreon tier where we can just like communicate there, and I save all the files so it's all in one place and not all disorganized. But yeah, that's it. We'll call it a night. Let me know what you guys think if you want to see more of these. I wanted to make it a short video because I just wasn't sure and I didn't want my phone to die in the middle. And plus I started the schedule live wrong and no one could like even hear me. See, it's even like covering up right now, but we will work on it. It's a work in progress. But thank you guys for joining. Until next time, you guys have a good night.